What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. We're finally getting to talk about some Rafael Devers contract extensions, although it's not exactly the video I want to be making, and it's probably not the video that you guys were hoping I'd be making at this time in this year. But they did come to some sort of agreement. What they came to an agreement on was an arbitration agreement. Really, it was an agreement, a one-year deal, so that they don't have to go to arbitration, go through the hearing, go through all that process. And honestly, this contract was met with a lot more backlash than I thought it was going to. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to talk about the arbitration contract itself, what it possibly means. We're going to talk about why this contract was met with some negative backlash, and we're going to talk about some reasons why maybe those negative backlashes shouldn't be the things that you are focusing on, and there may be some positive things to take out of this. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps out a ton and would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start by talking about the actual contract itself, because the announcement for the contract came from Jeff Passan, and Jeff Passan nearly gave me a heart attack, and I want you guys to experience what I went through as well, because hey, I can't be the only one who suffers alone. The actual announcement itself by Jeff Passan read, third baseman Rafael Devers and the Boston Red Sox are in agreement on a one-year $17.5 million deal to avoid arbitration, sources tell ESPN. Now, I only read the first part of that sentence where it said Rafael Devers and the Red Sox were in agreement on a contract, and I got super excited. I nearly jumped out of my chair, but that did not happen. And again, what this really means is that the Red Sox and Rafael Devers agreed to not have to go to arbitration with this deal. Both sides avoid arbitration, and no one has to deal with conferences or a third party or anything like that, which I actually thought was a good thing. But again, like I said in the intro, there was a lot of negative backlash to this tweet, and we're going to talk about both right now, starting with why some people are concerned about this Rafael Devers contract with the Boston Red Sox. The biggest reason I think that this has received such a negative, concerning reaction, more so than I thought it would, is because of the Red Sox recent actions, right? If you take a look at the other generational, super talented player to come up from our minor league system, Mookie Betts, right around actually almost to the day, the Red Sox and him came to an agreement to avoid arbitration in 2020. It was a $27 million deal that at the time set the record for the highest arbitration deal, and everyone was in kind of a good mood at that point. You sort of figured, hey, if they're going to give this much money to him in arbitration, maybe there's a chance that they can come to an agreement on long-term extension, only for them to turn around and trade him just a couple of weeks or days after this contract was signed. So I think in a lot of people's heads and a lot of people's opinions, history is bound to repeat itself, and Rafael Devers is on his way out the same way Mookie Betts was. And honestly, I'm not going to sit here and tell anyone that their feelings or concerns about a Red Sox moves are invalid, unless they're just factually inaccurate. Then yes, I will. But for the most part, feelings towards a move is something that I'm not going to argue with, because everyone's entitled to their own. I have no reason to argue against the moves that the Red Sox have made the last couple of years, and why you guys should believe that they are going to do anything else. So for the most part, I think the bad backlash to this contract is because of what happened to Mookie Betts. Now, there are a couple of other storylines that came along with this news that tended to lean negative. The first was that the reason the Red Sox and Rafael Devers signed this contract is because the Red Sox realized that they were too far apart on the Rafael Devers contract situation, and they decided, hey, look, Rafi, we're going to give you this deal. Does this mean we're going to trade you? I don't know yet. Does this mean that we aren't going to give you an extension? Yes, because we can't come to an agreement. We're going to give you the arbitration. We're going to get you out of the way. We're going to start worrying about putting together the rest of the team. Now, the third and final argument I saw for this being a bad thing is that it's the other way around. Rafael Devers is realizing, hey, we're not going to come to an agreement. I don't want to try to come to an agreement with you. I just watched all of free agency. I saw people who a lot of people consider less talented than me make a lot of money, and if you're not going to give me that type of money, there are teams out there who are going to be competitive, who want to give me that money. I'm just going to wait and hold out. Let's just sign this arbitration thing, get it out of the way, and I can focus on having a monster season, bet on myself like Aaron Judge, but let's do it a little bit more flashy because, hey, I'm Rafael Devers, right? Pretty similar to the second one here. The only difference here is that it's Rafael Devers as opposed to the Red Sox, who doesn't think a deal's going to get done. And again, we've been pretty scorned in the past when it came to homegrown players and all these arbitration deals and stuff like that. So I understand the reasoning for the negative comments, but let's look at this from another angle and see if we can pull anything positive out of this arbitration news. Because before we start grabbing our pitchforks, before we start grabbing our torches, before we start wearing paper bags to opening day, there may be some hope here for the Red Sox and Rafael Devers in this arbitration agreement. The first positive thing to pull out of this arbitration agreement is that the Red Sox and Rafael Devers are having fluid communication. They have to be, right? If both sides were able to come to an agreement on arbitration before they had to bring in an arbitrator, is it arbitrator or arbiter? Either one, the fact that they got to an agreement before they had to get to one of those guys means that they are within constant contact. Now, just because the arbitration deal is done, that doesn't mean that that constant communication goes anywhere, right? If anything, it means that they can be more fluid in their conversations. So in my opinion, yeah, the first part of this is that, hey, this deal means that the Red Sox and Rafael Devers are talking right now. And that's always a good sign when it comes to longer term extension. Whether or not they get there, that's a different story. But the fact that they are talking right now is definitely a good thing. The second thing is that this contract, this arbitration contract, is simply a formality. At the end of the day, every player on this Red Sox team has to come to an agreement with this Red Sox team if they want to avoid arbitration. Anyone who's eligible for arbitration is going to have to either sign a deal or go into an arbitration meeting towards the middle of January. What this could mean is that the Red Sox and Rafael Devers wanted to get this out of the way, just get it done, get it over with, so that they don't really have to focus on what he's going to get paid in arbitration this year. They can solely focus on what a long-term contract to be on this Red Sox team looks like. Because if you have the arbitration thing and the contract thing, stuff can get meddled with, it can get bogged down, you can start to get log jammed, right? This gives you a clear path and a really low excuse for not re-signing Rafael Devers. So this being signed really early on means they're communicating. It also means there's no more roadblocks to being able to fully talk about what the Red Sox and Rafael Devers long-term may look like. And finally here, the last thing I want to talk about is to put my tinfoil hat on a little bit, because now that they're communicating, now that they don't have an arbitration to worry about or anything like that, there may be more of a clear path to getting things done than we think. One, the Red Sox were always going to probably pay Rafael Devers arbitration this year. It's pretty clear that the Red Sox are going to stay under the luxury tax in 2023. What this could mean, and again, tinfoil hat on here, this is just speculation, but what if the Red Sox are saying to Rafael Devers right now, hey, listen, look, we don't want to go over the luxury tax in 2023. We want to stay under, we want to revamp, we want to retool, we want to get ready to spend the next couple of years. Why don't we just get this contract out of the way so you know what you're making in 2023, we know what you're making in 2023, then we'll have you sign this long-term deal so that the money does not affect this 2023 team and he ends up signing within the next couple of days or the next week or so. That is definitely something that could be happening and something that the Red Sox could be trying to do with Rafael Devers, and maybe it's something Rafael Devers is agreeing to. Again, that's kind of far out there, that's kind of something that might happen, probably won't happen, but it's something to at least think about. The last thing I want to say in terms of positivity is that Rafael Devers not once this offseason has said, hey, look, maybe there's other options for me out there. Everything that his camp or he has said publicly is that he wants to be on this Red Sox team. Now, that's not he thinks the deal's going to get done. That's just he wants to be here. Front office has also only said that they want him here. It feels as though both sides do want him to remain a Boston Red Sox. There's been no public interactions where either side has mentioned him not being a Red Sox long term. Yes, Rafi's camp did say they expect to go to free agency, but they did not say that they wanted to go to free agency. That's what I'm trying to say here. So that's another positive thing to take away. It feels as though both Rafi and the front office feel as though they want Rafi to be a Red Sox long term. Now, there is a sub on this channel. His name's Griffin. He's a close friend. He's a really great baseball mind. He kind of summed this up perfectly. His tweet is on the screen now. But basically, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to tell you to not think this is a bad thing, because it's up to you to make that decision, right? I'm just trying to tell you that, hey, maybe it's not as negative as it may seem. And it does seem as though this will probably not hinder any of the negotiations for Rafael Devers. Yes, the Mookie Betts thing will still linger, and I completely understand that. But hey, there may be some positive things to take away from this, and this does not mean that all hope is lost for Rafael Devers and the Red Sox having a long-term, at least discussions about a long-term contract extension, hopefully getting to a long-term contract extension. So let me know in the comment section down below, where are you at with all this? What do you think about the arbitration deal and what it means for Devers long-term? Do you think it means anything? Let me know all your thoughts on Devers and the Red Sox currently, right now, down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps it out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seat.